Virtual summits are the most powerful online marketing tool available to grow your list, launch your platform, make more money, and create an impact in the world, even if you're just getting started. If you are ready to take your summit to the next level, then tune into the Virtual Summit Podcast with Dr. Mark T. Wade.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark T. Wade, founder of Virtual Summit Software and creator of the One Day Summit Formula. And I'm on a mission to help you, the summit host, get your summit out to the world in a powerful and impactful way. So let's get started. Stop guessing and procrastinating, and let's get your summit done. I'm going to walk you through what you need to know in 7 days, and you'll be ready to rock. Let's check it out. Hey there, Summit host. I'm Dr. Mark T. Wade, founder of Virtual Summit Software, and your host here on the Virtual Summit Podcast. We're in for a treat today. I'm going to tell you about something that just happened and give you an opportunity to jump into the next one. But before we do, I want to remind you to check out our resources area over at virtualsummits.com. Our resource area has everything from how to get started with the summit, the One Day Summit Formula Starter Guide, how to create a highly converting summit homepage, your summit home video, interview with like a pro, and much, much, much more. So be sure to check that out over there. Okay, so I've just finished our first cohort of our 7-day summit challenge. It was so good, we've decided to do this again. Now, I 100% guarantee you're going to want to be in this next group. Now, I'm not going to be able to promise that we're going to do it again after this, so you absolutely want to jump in while you can. You can head over to virtualsummits.software/summit-challenge if you want to jump in. But first, let's talk through what we just covered. Now, before I jump into the actual information and aspects that we covered in this challenge, I just want to give a couple shout outs to some of our recent students that just went through our 7-day summit challenge. We've got Danny Den Hartog over here who said, Mark, many thanks for hosting this challenge. Max Netter says, awesome value. I can't wait to start my second summit. We had Christine Michelle James says, I'm excited getting this theme rock solid. Mark, I learned a lot and was fortunately able to fulfill the assignment today. We had Brian who says, this is great advice, Mark. So thanks and shout out to some of our previous students who went through our most recent 7-day summit challenge. We had around 75 people who all went through it. This is a paid challenge. It's not free to access, although it is very, very low cost. But what this does is it makes sure you get it done. So I'm going to give you the framework. I'm going to give you kind of the layout of how we did this and what we covered. And I think you're going to see some pretty amazing value here. And then I want to give you a special invite to come join us, okay? So it was a 7-day challenge. We ended up adding a bonus day 8 where we did an implementation day because this is based off of and built specifically around the feedback of all of the students attending. I mean, we had polls in there where they could tell us exactly what was the most, the topic or issue or area that they needed the most help with. Then we crafted the theme or the 7-day summit challenge around those themes. We added the bonus day because we wanted to make sure we set them up for success and everything in between. Now, it was only an hour a day. It was about 45 to 50 minutes with about 10 to 15 minutes left for Q&A with our VIPs. But it was so powerful and so concise that we got so much information across. And then every day, those who were engaged and participating would do what we called summit creation tasks or homework. So they actually built out most of their summit in these 7 days, had my feedback. I went through on every single person's post on their homework, and I gave feedback on how to improve it, what I thought about it, how it could be better, how it could be more successful. So getting my insights on their information, on their actual ideas seemed to be very, very powerful. So let's talk about the different days. On day 1, we did coming up with an irresistible summit theme. Of course, we set some expectations and what was going to happen. We set like how to prepare for each day and each night. And then we also gave a special bonus away to whoever was the most engaged person, showed up, finished their homework, helped the group. This was a very engaged audience, a very engaged group of students. They were helping each other on, cheering each other on. It was just really amazing to watch this group come together and support each other. I think some of them were actually speaking on each other's summits. Because of this, it was really a great cohesive group.
Virtual Summits software makes hosting a summit easier than ever. The only software in the world designed specifically for hosting a summit lets you set up a summit in a matter of hours with no tech skill or team needed. You can try out the Virtual Summits software free at virtualsummits.com. But hurry, this is a limited offer.
So we went through creating an irresistible summit theme. We covered the overview of a summit. We broke down exactly what is a summit topic, the difference between summit topic, titles, subtitles, and names, which is a very common mistake, which is a very common challenge and confusion point for a lot of summit hosts. They get them mixed up. They're not doing it correctly. And it is one of the more powerful or more important aspects to getting people to sign up for your summit. Then we went through actually selecting the summit topics, how to come up with a post-summit goal, creating your problem, who's your avatar, and how to word it. We then narrowed down the problem specifically so we could take that and craft it based around our summit. We went through the summit story arc, which probably had the most powerful feedback from the audience, from our students, than any other thing. They said this was, some of the most. Let's see if we can actually pull one of these up here. Max says your content was amazing. Crystal says this was amazing, Mark. Thank you very much. Lorene says another rocking session, jam-packed with nuggets of wisdom. And actually, Lorene posted right after this first session, she posted a video in the group saying, brilliant, this summit story arc, I've never heard it about this before. The way it laid out made everything so simple and clear on how to actually create my summit. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This was absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Lorene, for that video and those comments. But the summit story arc is one of the most important aspects. It's how we determine essentially everything. It lays the actual foundations for what are you going to talk about, how are you going to set up the flow, who are you going to choose, and what are those topics that their presentations they're going to be talking about going to be based on. And here's the cool thing. We actually evolved the summit story arc, and I released it for the very first time in this 7-day summit challenge. So we've crafted a even more powerful way to design and map out your summit story arc, which makes it easier than ever, but it also makes it more powerful than ever. So of course they had some homework tasks after that, and that was day 1, theme and topic creation. So day 2, we jumped into speaker research, recruitment, and scheduling, plus a couple other things. This was like drinking out of a fire hose from what I was told. We went through a lot of information in the 50 minutes we had here. So we talked about starting with what breaks your heart, understanding, get into the emotional or the story-based reason, the feelings behind why you're doing and how that increases and improves your summit. The session types, understanding there is way more than just doing a boring based interview Q&A style summit. And you have to be better than that. Of course, you're going to use some of those, but it's not going to be the only thing. We talked about the different types of sessions, such as panels and breakouts and presentations. We talked about all of them and how you can implement them and put them into your summit, and what not to do, the common mistakes of what is done when people try and go overboard with that as well. Then we went through summit themes. Okay, you have to create an experience on your summit. So we went through exactly how to create this summit theme, what's a boring summit versus an experiential summit, and some examples of these themes. Then we laid out a summit agenda. So creating a summit itinerary based off of a summit agenda, which all relates back to that summit story arc we were just talking about. So from there, we were able to add our interviews, we break it up with special sessions, and then we integrate our engagement. Majority of all summit hosts do not do this step, and it is critical to having an organized and successful virtual summit. So we actually mapped this out together, and then we went through speaker selection and how we always always, always start with the content first, which means the summit story arc, and how the majority of summit hosts actually start off by trying to pick a speaker based on the name or kind of influence of that speaker. And that's the wrong way. It's the backwards way of doing it. And you're actually going to make it more difficult. You're going to make it less potent, less powerful with your summit. So we go through how to set up, how to pick your speakers the correct way, and how this actually increases the likelihood and speaker ratio rate, which is what we call when reaching out to speakers, how many speakers say yes versus how many speakers say no. This actually increases your success rate with speaker outreach and recruitment. We then covered speaker onboarding process, which is a very, very important aspect, how you can set yourself apart from all of the other summit hosts by using some really important and powerful, yet easy and simple ways to separate yourself and make yourself seem and appear to be more professional and more organized in the summit that they want to speak on. Everything from one-pagers to speaker invite pages, what to put in them, how to make it stupid easy, and of course your schedule, the scheduling of the speaker. So that was day 2. We went through some homework tasks. At the end of that, we had students in this 7-day summit challenge posting this information, already getting speakers saying yes. We were celebrating with them, excited about it, made it so easy for most people. We even had some students in this challenge who had already started on their summit, and they were like, Mark, I wish I would have known this like 2 weeks ago before I started reaching out to my speakers. I did this wrong. We actually covered how to improve it or how to fix it if you've already started in the wrong manner. But also all the people who didn't start were like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited I got this information, because it just saved me from making the same mistakes as most of the other summit hosts do. Now, then we went into day 3. Day 3 was a fun one. It was a packed one, and it was from the feedback, an incredible one. So we've got a lot of amazing information from this. We've got, Yinka said, I love reading the emails that you send out, because we covered in this the summit offers and email campaigns. Yinka said your headlines are always super powerful and super attention grabbing. We talked about the importance of the email when we're creating email communication sequences with the subject lines. We had Brian who said this absolutely rocked. Thank you, Mark. We had Amy here said, this is amazing. Your generosity, both financially and with the information you share, is really inspiring. And we're learning so much from reading other people's plans too. Such a great challenge. So thank you, Amy. Thank you for that. So with that being said, when we talked about the summit offers, creating a highly converting summit offer and your email communication sequences, the summit's communication sequences. So first we had to start off with the flow of the summit, and we had to map out where those communication sequences fall and when they start and why. Then we went through each summit email communication sequence. We went through the pre-summit, the early bird, the indoctrination sequence, the summit live, the last chance, and then the ever summit sequence. And we talked about what goes into them, even from a psychological standpoint, how to put that in there. Then we also went through and I showed an example of my summit communication sequences that I built for a summit that was on summit communication sequences called Summit Script. So I actually showed that summit email copy, how I set it up. I went through exactly what I do to create that, and I wrote that summit email communication. That summit ended up generating over $32,000 from the summit, and with our post-summit offer, did over $200,000. So you could say that was $200,000 email copy right there that we actually showed and went through. Now, then we went through some pro tips with communication sequences, things that you need to know, because most of us are not copywriters, okay? But we have to overcome that analysis paralysis. We also have to make sure that our copy is effective. Most summit hosts wait to the last minute. They go, I don't want to do this, but I have to do it. They throw some stuff on paper and then they send it out there, and they don't put much thought into it because they're just afraid or overwhelmed with actually doing it. Here's the problem. Your summit email is one of the most important aspects of your summit. That's the communication that happens with your attendees. If you do not put time and energy into it, your summit will not convert. People will not show up, then they will not engage, and then they will not convert on sales. So there's no point in doing the summit if you're not going to make your summit communication sequences powerful. And I do not mean go out and pay people to do your emails, okay? okay? We're talking about how you could do that. We actually covered that in this 7-day challenge. So we went through things like how story is better, shorter is better than longer, unless you're a copywriter. We went through the power and importance of the subject lines and how to craft those. We talked about one goal, one call to action, one goal, one call to action. If you put more than one call to action or more than one aspect or goal of the summit, of the communication sequences, then people are not going to convert. We went through the pre-summit sequences and the power importance of those, and how many times to email each day of the summit. Then we jumped into summit offers. Now we mapped this out on the whiteboard. We talked about what are the different types of offers, from the summit offer to the order bump to the upsell to the post-summit offer. And then we dug in deep into summit offers, the offer that is on your summit. So we talked about how you got to understand it first. This is the first step towards your post-summit offer. It's the bridge between the opt-in and the post-summit offer. We showed that. I gave examples of it. We then went through how to craft your tiers for your summit offers and price points. We talked about how right now the most highly converting price point on summits is $47. When should you use that? How should you place it? And should that be the only offer or only price point? No, we actually went through all of the different prices, from one-time offer to early bird offer to the summit live offer to what the price point is when the summit ends, and how to craft that based on your audience and your niche. Then we went through the decoy effect, which is one of the most powerful ways to increase your revenue per person. Okay, it doesn't increase more sales, but it increases the revenue generated with that same amount of sales, and how you can position a decoy offer in midst of your offers to get more people to choose the higher tier than the lower tier. We mapped that out. We also went through what goes into a summit offer. So we had a template. This came straight out of our Summit Genesis workshop. I mean, I was giving some incredibly valuable aspects here on this challenge. Some of this came straight from our Summit Genesis workshop, which is a $5,000 workshop, a 3-day virtual intensive from none idea to launch or host of your summit. But with this, we went through the templates. We talked about the components, how to come up with the name. What's the quick win? Do you offer an on-demand or not? How do you craft the name for that? How many bonuses should you put in total? How many of those come from the host? How many of those come from the speakers? And how to do, like, okay. And the other aspect with this is most summit hosts, they just throw the bonuses in there and it looks like we call it the shotgun effect. It's like more to overwhelm and look like quantity versus quality, and how that actually works against you. So don't do that. You want to make sure that your bonuses are labeled, named, or chosen in a way that supports the summit offer and makes it either feels like it's the things leading up to that or supportive materials.
Be sure to check out the speaker management tool inside your virtual summit software, which lets you quickly and easily recruit and manage your speakers on your virtual summit, literally eliminating hundreds of hours of work. Get more information at virtualsummits.com.
And then, of course, we went through some homework. So that was one of the most powerful days we had. It was phenomenal. We got lots of great feedback on that. And then day 4, we went into sponsors. And originally, we didn't have sponsors listed to cover, but we got so much when we did our poll, our survey into the group to say, what do you need help with? Sponsors was one of the top things that, and the first one was promotion strategies. The next was sponsors. So we decided to change up our plan and we threw sponsors in there, and we covered that on day 4. We got feedback like this from Lorraine saying, wowza, I just filled up pages of notes. We had Yinka here says, Dr. Mark, you're so passionate about this project. I was so thrilled the way you trained us with the first day, and I was not afraid to venture into the virtual summit. Now with the presentations, it says I was afraid to venture into the virtual summit originally, but after these presentations, all my fears melt like butter in a hot pan. I think we have a poet here. Yinka, you've got a way with words. He says, you can increase the special students bonus. And at the end of the day, we are all successful. We will be your mouthpiece, and nothing spreads a message more like word of mouth. Thank you, Yinka. That was an amazing feedback right there. And honestly, I had so much fun doing this challenge because I got to work with each of these students inside of the Facebook group. And most people, we do not open my schedule up very often because I am quite busy and we get lots of requests, probably 5 to 10 different requests a day to be, hey, Mark, or hey, can I hop on a call with Mark and pick his brain? And I wish I could, but I can't do that with everybody, which is why we created this challenge. And it allowed me on a day-to-day basis to go into this group, provide feedback on the homework and the progress each student was making. And honestly, I had a blast. I got to know each of these students very well. I feel like we're all friends now, which is great. And again, it was a lot of engagement, a lot of people helping each other as well. Now with day 4, the sponsors, we actually went through, do you even need sponsorships? A common, I would say, summit myth is you have to have sponsors on your summit to have it be a successful summit. And we talked about, is that true or not? Is it worth having a sponsor or not? In what situations should you have a sponsor? Should you even waste your time and energy on getting sponsors? And if so, when do you start sponsor outreach? One of the most common mistakes in regards to sponsors is to think you should start reaching out to sponsors right away. It's the absolute worst opposite option, because sponsors are not going to give you money until you have proof of concept and something that looks like it's worth donating money to. So you actually don't start recruiting sponsors until you're into the 3/4 of the way, usually 1/2 to 3/4 of the way through your summit creation. Then we talked about all the different kinds of sponsors. There is 5 different types of sponsors, and most people just think of the paid sponsors. Like, okay, sponsor gives me money to be on my summit. And there are some people that then think, well, no, there's 2, Mark. There's paid and then there's in kind, which means for free. Those are both 2 of the categories, but there's actually a total of 5 that you should be considering when you're doing a sponsorship. Then we talked about how to choose a sponsor. You don't just want to reach out to a random person, company, or business. This is your reputation on the line. You want to make sure that you're picking somebody you have a relationship with or a company you personally use. We went through the sponsor formats. So we talked about, how do you format the sponsors? Are they all the same? What about exhibitors? Is it tiered? What about partner style? So we covered all of those and how to know which one to use. We went through what are you offering them? You can't just say, I'm going to put your logo on my website and talk about you. There's got to be more than that. You need to be creative. You need to think about it. Ultimately, you need to know what sponsors want. They want sales. Right? They want sales. So how do they get sales? They need leads. How do we get them leads? We give them exposures. So then I actually showed my summit sponsor offerings and how I position this and what I offer to our sponsors. We identified price points and how to determine what price you should be offering if you're just getting started and or you're in a niche, you've never done a summit before, how you can determine what you should be offering and how to make it irresistible. We then went through sponsor outreach. How do you outreach to them? How do you do this? What do you put in that email? Is it going to only be email, or are you going to have to actually jump on the phone with people? News alert, like breaking news right here, or alert, you're going to have to get on the phone with people if you want them to actually convert and pay you money. So that's one of the things you need to understand, how to prepare for that. And then, of course, we had some homework there for everyone as well. That sponsor day was amazing. We had people posting inside the group after that, the outlines of their sponsored tiers, what they were offering, price points. It was so amazing. Some people had already crafted themes on it. It was just an amazing thing to see. How we're doing this. And, Amy says here, after going through the day 2 with the summit emails, I think that was day 3, she says, we're totally changing our email strategies now to be stories. We have so many amazing women with powerful stories of equality participating in our summit. We really think sharing this in our emails will be such a great draw. Thanks again for putting us on the right track. You are very, very welcome, Amy. And they are absolutely crushing it. They're doing some big things to help females in their industry and niche. She also says here, Amy says, thanks for sharing these resources with us, Dr. Mark. It's really helpful to be able to go back and read through everything after the fact. So one of the things we do in this 7-day summit challenge is I actually share some of my resources, some of the resources, one that I use on my summits, and number 2 that are in our Summit Genesis workshop, which again, it's a $5,000 workshop that most of these people got in this summit for $50. It was a $50 paid challenge, and they were getting access to some of these resources. After each of the training sessions, each of the teaching sessions, anything that I showed or shared, I went back and put into the units so that they could get access to in the members area. Now on day 5, we went through Build It. Build It was, we started with it. This is just like it sounds. Everybody got access to the Virtual Summit software, and together we went through and built out part of the summit. So we went through a quick introduction, overview of Virtual Summit software. So everybody felt comfortable with this. It doesn't matter if you have zero tech skill or knowledge whatsoever. Virtual Summit software is the quickest, easiest, and best way to host a virtual summit. Now, we went through what are the main sections of a summit homepage, understanding the different areas such as above the fold, speakers, topics, presentations, about the host call to actions, and what additional topic or additional sections could you put into that. Then we went through the important aspects of a highly converting summit homepage, common mistakes, and what are the things that are going to actually convert, and how to structure it in a way which we call foot and door method. So it's one thing to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing, and before you know it, you have a conversion. With that being said, we also covered the different types of building out your summit pages. So we went through, of course, the simplest, quickest, easy, and most effective way, which is the Virtual Summit software, and using one of our pre-made themes. You could have your summit landing page done in like 30 to 40 minutes, probably maximum if you have the information. And then we said, okay, hey, if you don't want the themes, you want to customize it more, make it more fit your brand and things like that. We showed our summit page builder and how to operate that so you can have a completely customizable page using the Virtual Summit software. And then we addressed the elephant in the room. There was people that are like, Mark, I've already got a funnel builder software. I've already got some kind of sales software. Like, what do I do? And here's the deal. None of those are designed for a summit. They are not going to operate like a summit should be operated. They're not going to work the way a summit should work. They're going to decrease conversions, and it's going to be like everything else everyone else is seeing. It's going to be just a bunch of pages with speakers on them, and it's not going to actually feel like a summit. So we said, look, you don't have to get rid of your current funnel software. What we can do is integrate it. And we showed how you can use the opt-in form, embeddable opt-in form inside of the Virtual Summit software on your own sales and funnel pages to then integrate your pages, your funnel software with the Virtual Summit software so that you can sell and catch however you want and then run and operate onside the Virtual Summit software the way it should be. So we went through and we actually walked through that. I showed examples of it. I showed how we use that same integrated theme, our integrated method, our option on one of our summits, and how we tested it out to see how it would work and showed everybody how to do it. We went through each of the other two as well and built out a couple themes. And then everybody posted their summit landing page into the group. That was their homework for the day. And it was amazing to see some of these incredible pages that came out of it. Matter of fact, we had here Leonard McDonald, who said, Mark, thanks for pushing me to be great. And he's referring to the aspects that he actually created there with this summit. We had another person said, Mark, so another person sat here. Let's see. This is says, I'm truly grateful for this class and your software in reference to that. So that was an amazing, some amazing feedback there. Really glad to have gotten that as well. So with that being said, day 6 was promotions. Day 6 for promotions. We actually covered, first off, what are the best return on investments? We went through and covered every type of strategic promotional strategy you can or could do with the summit. We also talked about how to know which ones to do and which ones not to do. Should you do all of them or should you just do a few of them, and how to decide? But we went through the best return on investments, which we all know is the speakers promoting. That is the Goliath in the promotional space of a summit. You need to make sure that happens. So we went through what are the different types. We did a deep dive into each type, such as the content storm, foreshadowing, pre-summit list builder, pre-summit launch, how to create a press release. And then, of course, we went through the speaker promotion strategies and how to make sure that the speakers do promote. What are the ways, the number one ways to make sure a speaker promotes is building a relationship with them. So we went through some of the most quick yet powerful and impactful ways to stay top of mind and to have that relationship. We showed about how to create epic material and when you should give that to your speakers to make sure that they have it in advance and on time so that they promote. We then covered social media shareables and how to use it, when to use it, and how to understand the limits of social media as well. We went through messenger bots, when you should use it, why you should use it, the increasing of open rates, but also the risky aspects of running it as well.
With the Ever Summit feature inside the Virtual Summit software, you can rerun your summit as if it were live, ongoing forever with one click of a button. This now lets you continue to use your summit forever, bringing in qualified and engaged leads every month into your business. Get more information at virtualsummit.com.
Paid ads, we talked about what are the best type of paid ads and how to ensure you're not just throwing money away and when to use those. We talked about the affiliate programs, how to set those up. We talked about creating an attendee referral program, which turns your audience into an army of referrers. We also talked about how to use proof to increase conversions. And then we mapped it out, which was the homework. Start with your summit launch. When does that start? When does it go live? And then work backward, decide the promotional strategies and map it out. So that was day 6. Then on day 7, we went through post-summit profit strategy. We first talked about how to make sure you are thinking past your summit. Most summit hosts never think past their summit, and that's a common mistake. Some summit hosts, it doesn't matter if you do 500 leads or 10,000 leads, if you don't think past the summit, you're going to waste all of them. So 1, how to understand how to do the Ever Summit strategy, analyzing, optimizing, and automating your summit so it doesn't just go sit there on a virtual shelf somewhere and collect dust. Then we went through our monetization strategy, post-summit profit strategy, how to use magnetize, monetize, maximize, and multiply, taking our summit into a digital product, creating, collecting our first qualifying of buyers, collecting our first revenue, then into our maximization, which is our higher ticket transformation offer, which is where we really collect most of the revenue, and then ensuring we have our multiple stage, which is the reoccurring revenue, creating memberships so that we have reoccurring revenue. We went through each of these aspects, how to ensure you have it right and how to make sure it's how to set it up and how to line it up. Then the bonus day, we went through we added an extra day on there. Brian said, thanks, Mark. Yet another powerful performance. Thank you, Brian, for sharing that with us. Additionally, so the last day, we then went through implementation. We went through implementation, understanding expectations and why many summit hosts don't meet those, how to plan for success. We actually walked through my strategy, which we call the Summit Revenue Calculator, to understand exactly how many speakers that you need to reach and achieve the goals you want to get. And how, if you do not calculate this, you may be thinking you're doing a 5,000 person summit and end up with a 1,000 person summit. And it's not the summit. It was how you planned and prepped for it. So we covered that. And then we got an idea of what you need to get started. We went through how to map this out. How to actually understand from this point to whenever you want to host it. And we set goals and dates to make some accountability. And then we worked backward and we made sure we had our launch plans set so that our summit would happen as planned and as expected. So again, Danny here said, many thanks for hosting this challenge, Mark. We had Max says, awesome value. Cannot wait to start my summit. And Christine said, I am so excited. This is rock solid. I learned a lot from this challenge. Thank you to everybody who participated in that original 7-day summit challenge. The feedback was so great. The information, the actual results that these students all got was so phenomenal. We said we're going to do it again. Here's the thing though. We're going to do this again, but there's no promise or guarantee that we're going to do it again after that. So I'm going to give you the access to this right now to go check it out. If you want to be a part of the next one, you are welcome to join with us. If not, I hope this episode right here, we still just went through, I gave you so many tips and gems inside of this episode that we covered. But if you're ready to take 1 hour a day for 7 days, and at the end of that, be ready to rock and roll with your summit, then you may want to check out our 7-day summit challenge. You'll be able to find that in the resource area over at virtualsummits.com, or shoot us an email over at info@virtualsummits.com. Ask us about us. We can give you the information. You can check it out. But here's the deal. What I'm most excited about is I just got to work with 75 entrepreneurs, businesses, and brands who had a message that they desperately wanted to get out to the world, but they didn't know how they were going to do it previously. Now they have an exact plan, exact strategy. They have the confidence that they need, and they have the accountability to get the things done, and my insights on that to ensure they're set up for success. And for me, this is inspiring to see these visionaries that have this message that are now going to get that out to the world and make an impact in the world. And that gets me stoked. And here's the deal. I know you have a message inside of you that the world needs to hear, and an impact that you need to make in this world too. And I want you to get that message out. And if I can help you in any way, please don't hesitate to reach out. Let me know. I hope I'll see you in our next 7-day summit challenge. And I hope that I'll have a small part in helping you get that message out to that world and make that impact and leave your legacy. Remember, your message matters. And now it's time to get that out to the world. Thanks again for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for listening. Now don't forget to subscribe and leave a 5-star review on the Virtual Summit podcast. Head over to the show notes to check out all the links and resources from this episode, and be sure to grab your free trial of the Virtual Summit software.
Now, I want to end this episode by saying to all the Summit hosts listening right now, I believe in you, and you can do this. Summits are by far one of the most powerful ways to quickly grow your list, launch your platform, make more money, and most importantly, make an impact in the world, even if you're just getting started. So don't get caught up in analysis paralysis, because the world needs to hear your message, and there are people who are waiting for you to help them. So just get started, because imperfect action is always better than no action. Thank you, and see you on the next episode.